and thanks for joining me on Life Less Ordinary. Today I'm going to talk to you about why we homeschool, and the reason I'm doing this is because I actually get a lot of questions from people about this. So I'm going to give you the answer that I would generally give to people when they do ask, why do you homeschool, or why are you still homeschooling? We started homeschooling in about 2001 when Isaac was about 4.5. And the reason we did that, there's a number of reasons actually. Our education wasn't that great, particularly in high school. There were a lot of difficulties in the school that we attended, and we had great friends, but in the end we didn't do that well in the HSC in order to get into university. So Dean and I didn't have what we would consider the best education. It wasn't something that we particularly enjoyed, and we really value the idea that our children will actually enjoy learning. So that was one reason we started looking into homeschooling. Around that time, we had 3 young children, and as you do as a new mum, as new parents, you read, you talk to lots of people about how they're parenting their children, just to give you, I guess, a sense of balance and an idea of what you're doing is the right thing. So I remember reading a book called Raising Them Right, and it had 3 different articles from different parents on their perspectives of why they either public schooled, private schooled, or home educated. And when I read the article on home education, it resonated so much with me because I loved being around my kids. I wanted them to have a love of learning, and it just paved the way for us to make that decision to homeschool. So that's 2 reasons. The third reason was that we had an idea that in the next couple of years we would be moving around a little bit, and in actual fact it was 5 different places that we lived in the coming years after I'd looked into homeschooling. So Isaac would have been in 5 different schools if he had been sent to school. And we wanted in that time a sense of stability, and home education did provide that for us. Why did we continue home education? We loved it. As we added each child into the learning cycle, it meant that we were more comfortable in what we were doing. Dean got to spend time with the kids, and that was valuable. That was something that we valued, and also it just fit in with our lifestyle. Looking back, we can see that, and we could see how homeschooling, home education was actually benefiting our kids. They read a lot. We got to do so many things. We got to go on holidays outside of school holiday time. So for a growing family, and particularly as we became a large family, that worked particularly for us, because going on holidays during school holiday times gets very, very expensive. And we can see the fruit of that in our children. We can see the fruit of home education for our children. It hasn't always been easy. We have different learning styles amongst our children, and navigating that has been something that we've had to do. But it's also added benefits in it's rounded out their education. So not only do we just read things, do we just watch things, we listen to things, we actually do things together, and they learn so much. So for us, that has worked, and I recognize that doesn't work for everyone. And we were in a place where I didn't necessarily need to work, and I chose to stay at home rather than go back to working as a registered nurse. but that worked for us. It may be a different story for others, but home education has been a real blessing for us.